According to a study of over 3.8 million jobs on LinkedIn, roughly 38.4% of entry-level jobs require 3 to 5 years of experience, with industries such as manufacturing and software services demanding well over 50%. This creates a staggeringly obvious chicken and the egg paradox, especially for Gen Z. So, I want to take a deep dive into the many reasons the entry-level job is being plagued with unrealistic expectations. It all starts with the mindset everyone needs to start somewhere, just not with us. This is a historical shift, when entry-level jobs used to mean no experience. Decades ago, getting your first job was much simpler. Post-World War II and through the 70s, about 90% of corporate vacancies were filled through promotions and lateral moves. Entry-level jobs weren't just about filling a role, they were about developing talent. Employers looked for trainable candidates and provided them with skills, career paths, and even pension plans. But that all started changing in the 1980s and 90s when corporations prioritized efficiency and cost-cutting over long-term employee investment. Automation, outsourcing, and the rise of gig work shifted hiring practices. Training was expensive, and more importantly, it required a lot more effort when hiring pre-skilled workers came at a monetary cost. It was still perceived as a higher return on investment than training, so it became the norm. Today, only 24% of positions are filled internally. That's a 66% decrease over the last 50 years. This inevitably brings us to the first issue that both candidates and employers are facing today. You need skills to get a job, but you need a job to get those skills. Those skills then go onto a piece of paper that you can use to get a different job, when you used to be able to get that first job that would teach you skills with a simple piece of paper that was a high school diploma. Now it seems every job that teaches early career skills requires a college degree instead of a high school degree, and they expect you to have most of the skills on top of that. It's simple credential and expectation inflation. While investment in training decreased and credential inflation increased, so did employers planning for attrition. It makes sense because rather than training for retention, they could just spend the money on recruiting in hopes that they could save a little on the margins. I don't think they've really saved themselves any headaches or money, but the numbers say otherwise because companies invest 4 times as much into recruiting as they do into training. So obviously their metrics justify the approach. Yet it seems employers have painted themselves into a corner, leaving a nation of raw talent unrefined and confused on how to jumpstart that refinement and their careers along with it. The entry-level job is in demand, but 92% of executives think American workers aren't as skilled as they need to be. Forbes reports that 59% of employees have no actual workplace training and are entirely self-taught. That leads us into the second problem. The second problem being the college degree dilemma. Whether the demand for a college degree is going to increase or decrease is impossible to predict, but one thing we can say for sure is that a college degree is no longer a guarantee for career stability as it once was. In fact, it might be doing the opposite. Once seen as the golden ticket to employment, a college degree is now a double-edged sword, if not a career anchor, because data is starting to show the more advanced your degree, the longer your job search will take. This doesn't make much sense until we hear from Scott D., CEO of Avania, a US-based career matching service for new graduates. He stated that employees are unhappy with the level of talent they are getting in the entry-level space. Instead of taking corrective action, they've increased experience requirements. In the last 5 years, we've seen a 20% increase in the number of skills required on job listings. This is where we begin to gain insight into the requirements needed for an entry-level job, as well as the confusion surrounding the push for having a college degree while simultaneously being reprimanded for having one. This is the foundation of a broken hiring process. If you think the process works, you're dead wrong. The hiring process is a mess. I have discussed the hiring process with countless hiring managers, and every single one of them has said they are now being expected to do more with less. This is without a doubt corporate greed, and it explains why this is a 20% increase. We've seen a 20% increase in the number of skills required on job listings. Businesses really only have two ways to increase their net margins. They can increase their prices or decrease the cost to produce things. With COVID-19, every business took the opportunity to raise their prices. So this option is exhausted and is no longer available to them, which leaves them with only one option: decrease the operating costs or the cost to produce. The biggest contributing expense to net margins is employee payroll. Therefore, by requiring more skills and or more productivity while paying the same, they are improving their margins. We have seen countless stories of companies conducting layoffs to open the exact same position for less pay, or expecting teams to maintain the same productivity levels with a 10 to 20% reduction in headcount. This is why you find yourself scrolling through job listings and finding that all your mid-level jobs are expecting 10 plus years of experience, and all your entry-level roles are requiring 5 years of experience. You can still find a role that is the perfect fit for you, but don't expect it to pay reasonably well, considering the number of years of experience you have. As a matter of fact, even if you meet the requirements, getting through the hiring process is another battle. And here's why. AI and applicant tracking systems. AI and applicant tracking systems are used by 98.8% of Fortune 500 companies, and they use them to sort resumes. And of this, about 75% of applications never even reach the human eye. Additionally, we have outsourced recruiting. 40% of US companies outsource hiring to third-party recruiters who, again, often rely on AI-generated job descriptions that don't even reflect the real requirements, as well as they create an unrealistic wish list. Many job listings are exaggerated. A 2018 survey found that applicants who met only 50% of listed qualifications had the same chance of being hired as those who met 90%. An excellent example of this, or an exaggerated example of outrageous job description requirements, comes in the form of the Fast API job posting incident. This incident happened when a job listing required 4 years of experience in a framework, Fast API, that had only existed for a year and a half. And therefore, the creator of Fast API wouldn't have even qualified to work on his own invention. All of these problems play a role in the bigger issue, the decline of entry-level jobs. Not only are requirements inflated, but entry-level jobs themselves are disappearing. Only 61% of hiring managers or HR leaders reported hiring for entry-level positions in 2023. This is down from 79% in 2022, and about 300,000 US jobs are outsourced every year, many of which were traditionally entry-level roles. The World Economic Forum predicts that 23% of all jobs will be disrupted by AI and automation within the next 5 years, the first of which are going to be entry-level roles. Simply put, fewer starter jobs exist, and those that remain expect you to have already worked in the field. So, when a company defines a role as entry-level, they don't really mean no experience required. They mean we want experience, but at entry-level pay. So, what can you do? Unfortunately, right now, you just have to bite the bullet. I want to stress, I'm not saying recruiters, hiring managers, HR departments, or corporations are inherently bad. Some might be, but for the most part, I believe the issue stems from inefficiencies in the systems that are far too great of an undertaking for any one hiring team to go in and fix. Unfortunately, many of these inefficiencies place the burden on job seekers who are simply trying to build their careers. But it's important to remember, this isn't a reflection of your worth, it's a reflection of a broken system. Keep pushing forward and do what you can to take control of your career. If you're in HR, recruiting, or hiring, and I got something wrong, please share your insights in the comments. If not, I'm still curious. What do you think? Please share your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. And if you've made it this far into the video, you may as well like the video and share it with someone that might find it interesting. You might also be curious why companies are consistently claiming that nobody wants to work. You can find the answer to that question in this video here. Until next time, thank you.